it like for you to think about those times when you were bullied for being different and really for being you? What's it like to think back to that?
Well, I think for a long period of time, it was a painful experience when you're going through it. Because you're just being yourself. It's a natural state. So, you know, being bullied because I have a Portuguese name, for example, or because I have an accent, or because the kind of food that I eat is different, is really unusual because they're very basic characteristics that I think when you're at home you don't really think about. But the fact that, you know, someone who's uncomfortable with that goes out of their way to point out and try to make you feel uncomfortable for it, I think is something that, as I grew, made me realize that I should be being positive in a way that I'm empowering other kids in the same situation to not be ashamed of who they are, regardless of their personality, their gender identity, or anything else. Because I think nowadays, especially with social media and the fact that now you can actually be bullied through social media and it's become more anonymous and even more violent and aggressive, is a big concern. And since I'm a big brother, and I have younger siblings and younger cousins, that's a big concern to me. And I always think it's really important to empower people in that way, to be okay with who they are, or to at least start the journey to sort of seek their own happiness and their own personal truth.
Now we're talking about some very open-minded themes here. What's it like for you to be a musician from, it seems like a more conservative part of the world, exploring such kind of like free-thinking themes, you know, everyone should love themselves and want to be who they are and do what they want to do? I
think it is a challenge, especially because I would say I am from a very conservative place. I happen to live there because I've been living in Angola since 2006 after I finished my university degree. And even my personal aesthetic. So when I came into the scene, the fact that I was considered there a jazz artist, because I use a lot of jazz fusion in my first album, but I did not dress like the stereotypical jazz artist, where although I use a lot of Afro jazz, so the fact that I was not wearing traditional African garb, but I was also not dressing like Frank Sinatra, really confused people, and I think people were sort of trying to put me in a box and therefore saying that, you know, I'm crazy or overly eccentric because I'm choosing to express how I see a specific type of music, or how I choose to express the visual characterization of my music in a certain way. Luckily, I think there's a number of people in the audience who identified with that because they were also looking to celebrate that part of themselves, which is why with every creative pursuit that I do, what I try to do as much as possible is inspire people to be creative, because we're all creative in some way, even if it's in small ways. From, you know, picking the color of your wall at home to, you know, choosing a certain outfit or hairstyle that you want to try, that takes some level of creativity and courage, and that's what I really try to encourage in people, which is very difficult because I'm indeed from a place that's very conformist, where since it is a very family-oriented society, people take to heart a bit more what people within their immediate surroundings think and say, and that occasionally makes them a little afraid to express what they really feel, especially.